Hey everybody, this is Eric, and I'm going to be going over the tournament from Boston from this past weekend. First of all, a couple of things. The Baller TV footage has been extremely efficient about uploading, so we've been able to get this footage up there really, really quickly. I kind of want to manage expectations a little bit, um, because I really doubt that this continues during the course of the season. First of all, some of the tournaments might be streamed by other sources like Be the Beast, who are much worse at getting this stuff out to me. But as long as we're running hot with respect to Baller TV, let's be happy about that. Footage has been pretty good, except for one game. The angles were bad, but the speed that I'm getting this up is really, really quick. But again, to manage expectations, it's very rare that we're going to be able, I think, to get these up so quickly. Nonetheless, we're going to do the same thing for this weekend that we do for all the other tournaments. We're going to analyze the statistics, both from a team and individual perspective, and see where we're at. Now, again, I don't really focus too much on the results necessarily. Obviously, we lost all four games this weekend, but that's not what I'm really concerned about. What I'm concerned about is whether we put ourselves in a position to win in the first place, whether we took good shots, whether they were contested, whether they're uncontested, things like that. And this is, for both the players, parents, and the coaches for different reasons. For parents, some of you get really into this stuff, but some of you just want to be able to click through for highlights, which is certainly available to you. The kids should be embracing both the highlights, the clips, and the stats. And for coaches, you guys should, use these statistics to help with your scheme and to help your philosophy and help with your points of emphasis, because certain teams need to be tweaked in different ways. So, nonetheless, let's just get started with the first game, which is the expressions game. And listen, these were some big boys, right? And that's just going to be the bottom line. And sometimes you're just kind of outgunned a little bit, and sometimes you think you're outgunned when you're not. This time you kind of were, and the stats will bear that out. I mean, as I've discussed before, you're looking for an effective field goal percentage of 55%, and you shot 31. Not good. I mean, to say the least. Uh, Turnover rate, 15% is what your target is. You turned the ball at a turnover rate of 22%, and that's not good at all either. And I could argue that this has not as much to do with your opponent as mental mistakes, but that's not for me to classify. That's for the coaches to kind of click through and look at these. Offensive rebound percentage, 9%. I mean, you got no rebounds. And listen, if you can't make shots, turn the ball over, and can't get a rebound, you're not winning. Boy, you really needed me to tell you that. Um, let's take a look, though, at the shot chart and see at least the distribution of the shots to see if at least we put ourselves in a position to win, um, as opposed to some of these other games, which we're going to get to. All right, so here's the good news. All right, a couple of bits of good news. The good news is that you only took two what I consider bad twos. All right, and compare that to how you did in the other games. I mean, this was actually from a shot selection perspective, not getting into the weeds, really not that bad. Okay. Turns out you couldn't make anything. Now, the thing you can look at is what you did at the rim, because sometimes these are deceiving. The huddle will tell you shot it at the rim, but really it was a little more of a floater over a 6'9" player, which is not the greatest shot. So what you can do is kind of click through here to see what these kind of misses look like. So like if you said, "Wow, we were 3 for 11 from two from here," let's click through there and see these, and then you can kind of tell. Like I don't even know, that might not even should have been considered a shot. That could have been a turnover instead. But so again, I'm not going to make a value judgment on these. Like that's obviously really good and one. Um, but is this a good shot? Again, I post without comment about that. But this is what you could use. You could use this as a tool. Like you want to not accept these stats as face value. You can click through them and see, even from a skill perspective, should you be taking shots from this area? And if so, should you work on different handedness and things like that? Let's take a look at the stats. And again, They're not going to be good, but you got to embrace them, right? Let's see. Against expressions, we had individuals. We have from three, we have Ryan 1 for 4, Sean 1 for 1, 0 for 1, Justin 2 for 8, Brandon 0 for 3, Nolan 1 for 3, and Jordan Gabriel 1 for 7. Okay, so one thing that again, this is for the coach to decide is all right, we took shots from where we're supposed to take them. Were the right people taking them, and were they within the flow of the offense? Jordan, I don't know your skill set, so I don't know if you shooting 7 threes is what we're looking for here. Like, is there a world where I would want Jordan taking more threes in a game than Brandon, Nolan, and Ryan? And you could say to me, well, you know what? These guys didn't make any either, which is true. But over the course of a large sample size, for example, I know that Justin is going to do better from 2 for 8. Now you'll remember that as we talk about the next couple of games. But I have the big sample size to know that Justin Brown is going to be shooting between 35 and 42% from three over the course of a big sample. So I don't care if he shoots 2 for 8, as long as again these weren't all contested with a 6'9" guy right in your face. So again, you could click through this and see what those particular threes look like. Okay. Let's take a look at the turnovers. Let's see. Turnovers, Nolan with 4 turnovers, Justin with 3 turnovers. So what you can do is, if you want, you could click through and see again the character of those turnovers. What do those 4 turnovers look like, say, for Nolan? And again, I'm not picking on you per se, but just because whatever, just to show you what you can do with Huddle. Yeah, that's again, that's bad pass, whatever. We try to dribble through these guys. Again, this is not for me to comment on, like one's particularly bad or good or whatever. Just again, show you what you can kind of do with this stuff. And yeah, and sometimes it's not your day. Sometimes you got rough matchups, and that's just the way it goes. All right. Let's go on to the next game. And that next game is the karate game. Now, you guys have been, well, you guys, the Crown program and my teams, I mean, we've been playing against Middlesex Karate since, a long time. And I don't know, is there was a John Karate who played at UVA back, in the 20s when I went to college. But maybe this is his brother or something. It has to be, right? Anyway, so they always have players. They're always kind of loaded, and even Chris told me that this team was pretty loaded, or they're at least really good. And we were actually in the game at the half. Let's take a look at the stats and see what this is about here. So 33% effective field goal percentage is just not working. You know what I mean? Like, as I mentioned earlier in the last couple of weeks, you're just not beating teams like this with this type of effective field goal percentage ever. Okay. You might be able to get away with it every so often if you shoot 45% with the other metrics working, or if the other team is performing poorly. But 33% is never working. 22% turnover rate. Again, I'm not too happy with that, because I do feel as though a lot of those things can be corrected or at least mitigated by better, I don't know, better scheme. If I want to blame the coaches, I'll say better scheme. If I want to blame the players, I'll say better skills or more mental fortitude, whatever. It's a joint effort, right? Offensive rebound percentage, 15%. You're just not going to be, you're not going to get enough opportunities. You're not shooting, you're not getting enough shots off with 22% turnovers and only 15% offensive rebounds. Now, if you want a silver lining, well, I mean, if you look at what Karate did, I mean, their effective field goal percentage was only 45%. So defensively, this wasn't bad, and you forced 19.6% turnover rate from them. So that's not bad either for you guys. And that's one of the reasons why you were in this game. But offensively, I mean, this is kind of a train wreck. So let's take a look and see what, from a shot selection perspective, we could kind of derive from this. Let's see. Okay, so now we're in my world. So you are taking three, four, six, seven, eight of these bad twos, okay? Out of 50 total shots. So comparing this game to the expressions game, now this is kind of seemed kind of bizarre, but at least in the expressions game, you gave yourself a chance to win. You took the shots in the expressions game that you're supposed to take. God forbid you made any of them, the game would have been closer. But here, like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like here, you're just almost never winning with this type of shot distribution. Here you were fine from here, from two at least, not so much from three. But I mean, look at all these. You didn't do any better from here, and even if you got lucky and these went in, they'd only be worth 2 points. You may as well take them from out here because they're going to be worth three. Now, again, you can click through and see what these look like if you want to. But from a distribution perspective, this is really, really poor. Let's take a look at the individuals. Karate, biathlete, total. I mentioned that Justin Brown is going to normalize. Okay, I hope so happens soon because 0 for 4 from three is not going to be good. Another 1 for 6 from Ryan. That's not good. Sean 2 for 2. All right, not bad. That's excellent. Brandon, another 0 for 5. Not great. And Nolan continues to not shoot well. So, this is going to have to either normalize or improve. Otherwise, it doesn't matter where you're shooting from. Right? So let's take a look at the turnovers here. I think the turnovers were pretty well spread out. There's a lot of not criminals, a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Guilty people. There are a lot of guilty people as far as the turnovers go. So I don't need to click through them, but you can feel free to click through them yourself if you want to see the actual footage of the actual statistics turnovers. But there were too many of them. Okay, so you have these two games, which the first game, I think if you play that game out 50 times, you lose 48 times. That's just the way that's going to be. I think that the karate game might have been worse only because of your shot selection. I think if you play that game out 50 times, you might lose 50 because even if you were making those, the shots in a way that you were supposed to be making them, your shot selection was just really poor. So that's my statistical opinion. Again, you can click through those shots to see if any of those stats are misleading in some way, which they could be. All right, let's take a look at the Sunday games. And I really thought that you guys had shots in both of these. So here's my thing. I don't think, again, that you were going to win those first two games, either of them. But I don't think that you should have lost both of these games on Sunday. That was my again. I didn't get to watch the whole game, but that was my inclination. And then, like, I once again see against UA Rise this 34% effective field goal percentage. So something is wrong. You know what I mean? Like there's something missing either in in either the offensive scheme, the execution, or the development of the offensive scheme, or just you got. And again, I'm just saying this because this is the way statistics work. Or you guys are just no good, right? Or you can't make these shots. I don't believe there's no way that third thing is the thing. You know what I mean? I've seen you guys play. I've seen you guys shoot over time, and it's not that you can't make these shots. Like that can't be. So there's got to be something going on with either the wrong people taking the shots, um, the fact that these shots are coming off in you know contestedness instead of wide open, which means we're not passing it enough, right? Or you're have poor shot selection. So I can see the poor shot selection, but the rest is kind of out of my hands, sort of. But again, 34% effective field goal percentage is not going to work. 15% turnover rate. Okay, that's fine at least. And you're getting a little more rebounds here, but still, that's not quite as much as you need. Let's take a look at the shot chart for this game for UA Rise. And once again, I don't like it. 1, 4, 5, 7 shots out of 63 are these bad twos. So, you're not putting yourself in a position to win. Like, even if your other shots were going in, like, these shots are such a big drag on your performance. Again, click through here if you want to see what I consider kind of bad twos. I know you guys will argue with me over that one, but just trust me, I'm right. Uh, yeah, I know, Brandon. I know the whole story. I've had this discussion with plenty of people about this shot in my lifetime. That right elbow, whatever, right from the foul line, just statistically over a long period of time, it's just bad. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, um, let's look at the stats here for this game. And here's another day, another game of Justin not making a three. Dude, I trust you. There's nothing wrong with your shot. I shouldn't say that. What do I know? Chris is the trainer. I'm easy. I get to just sit and watch this stuff and beak and comment. I don't know if there's anything wrong with your shot. It doesn't look like it. Are you shooting too many contested shots? I don't know. Chris, Mike, click through here. You tell me. And if they're no good, tell them they shouldn't be taking them that way. No and 0 for 3. Jordan, another one, 0 for 1. Ryan, 1 for 5. Sean, 2 for 3, 2 for 4. Very nice. One thing I do see about Sean is that you don't take them too often, but when you do, they're usually uncontested, which is what I like. As far as turnovers go, 6 turnovers for Nolan against this team. Oh, this was House We Built. Sorry. I messed that up. I'm gonna go back. Sorry. They always do this to me. We're gonna get back to the game. This is the UA Rise game. So the UA Rise game, I don't see the 3-pointers being any better, right? Brandon 0 for 4, John 0 for 4, Justin 1 for 3, Nolan 2 for 7. This is just either going to normalize. You got to get in the gym. The shots have to be less contested, something. Otherwise, it's going to be a long season. That's just the way it is. What were the turnovers here? No particular, villains as far as UA Rise game. But as I kind of alluded to, let's get to this last game, which is the House We Built game. And I tell you, when I first saw this, I thought that you guys won. I mean, I wasn't really paying attention to the story. I was half watching, but this team you played was not that great, to say the least. And there's no reason for this 35% effective field goal percentage and 24.7% turnover rate against this team. They're just not good. There's something in the offense, whether it's the scheme of the offense. Again, I'll give everybody, everybody takes credit. Everybody takes, the heat. Either it's the offense itself, the execution of the offense, the philosophy behind maybe the kids aren't sharing, maybe you guys aren't sharing it enough. Maybe. Again, that's a coach's call, But this is bad. And the turnover rate is just literally no excuse for that. It's just the way it is. Let's take a look at the shot chart. Listen, if it was against expressions, I'd give you a break for the turnover rate a little bit, but not against this team. I mean, House We Built was not that good. I promise you. Let's take a look at the shot chart. I mean, 1, 3. Look at this. Like I said, 1, 5, 1, 3, 7, 8. That's 8 out of 52 bad twos. Just make sure I didn't confuse the two. Well, what did the UA Rise one look like? I mean, it's like the same. I mean, this is 3, 4, 5, 7 out of 63. These are all bad. Okay? But again, there might be some context to this. You might be able to click through these and find that maybe the shots aren't as bad as I think they are. But let's take, just for fun. Let's take a look at these 4. Let's see. Is this a good shot? Yes or no? I don't know. See this one. Is this a good shot? Yes or no? But I'll tell you, I spoke about this with Chris and Mike. Listen, I could talk about this all day long, but I'll tell you from a player's perspective what a good shot is. A good shot from a player's perspective is what the coach on the floor tells him is a good shot, and what the coach on the floor either rewards or punishes him with playing time. And that's just unfortunately the reality. You know, it doesn't matter what I tell you. If you take a shot and the coach says good shot, then it's a good shot. You know what I mean? In your head. And listen, I know what it's about. You know, your kids want to be on the floor. Parents want the kids to be on the floor. And the way your kids get on the floor is to make your coaches happy, which is true. So you know, I will default by saying whatever the coach tells you is a good shot is a good shot. I'm just saying, when I show you this, what the math dictates. Anyway, let's take a look at the individuals here. Maybe it was the UA Rise team that I thought you really should have beaten. I thought you should have won this game too. I did. I don't know what to tell you. Let's look at the. Well, I shouldn't say you should have won. I mean, you're not going to win if you shoot like this, but you should have. I think you should have shot better. I think you should have gotten better shots off, I guess. Let's take a look at these. For three, Justin 1 for 5 again. Ryan 1 for 5 again. Sean, we said 2 for 4. So I have no one again, the 6 turnovers. I'm clicking through this again just to show you what you could do with the software. I'm not singling you out. And I promise you, throughout the course of this season, every single one of you is going to get called out in these videos. Okay? It's just the way it is. I don't like that body language too much, but and again, I hear like kind of scuttlebutt people that say, "Ooh, Sheetza or Erica really laid into." It's not like that. It's like everybody plays bad, everybody plays well, and I'm just kind of showing you how you can go through all these. Definitely not the best, right, Nolan? Though, and what I would say is that how many of those are mental mistakes versus lack of skill? Listen, if you make a bad pass because you're not skilled enough to make it, I almost want, I'll give you a break sort of, but if you make a bad pass because your head wasn't right, in some way, then that's something that you can, you can will that to happen. You could focus, and that's not easy either. I'll talk about that some other time if Chris lets me. If Chris wants to give me 20 minutes, talk to you about focus, I will do it. I don't know if I could talk Chris into letting me do that. But, I'm gonna try. Anyway, let's take a look at the stats for the season. All right. And now we have 7 games. Now, again, 7 games is not a big deal. Okay. But you'd be surprised how quickly we can get to a point where we have a sample size. Right. Like right now, we only have 7, but within a couple of weeks, we're going to have like 20 games, and then we're in a sample size that represents kind of like a college, almost a full college season for some teams. So, let's remind ourselves both of what we're looking for as a team for this season and individuals. And I'll give you guys continued goals to kind of shoot for. So overall as a team, what we're looking for, again, 55% effective field goal percentage. This has got to improve. Turnover rate is okay. We want it near like 15. And offensive rebound percentage, I think will improve. Seth's coming back. Maybe we scheme a little bit better for the rebounding and whatever. And the other thing to remember is these 4 games, they have a very disproportionate impact on the sample size. It's 4 out of the 7 games, and you obviously were just on the lower end of the distribution curve, to turn a phrase, in those 4 games. So don't worry too much about it. But throughout the course of the year, you're gonna have to start worrying about it. So like you could look, for example, at the shot chart for the whole season if you want to see, how much of this there is. And so far it's this week was worse. I think overall it's like just okay. And then with the stats as individuals, here's what I want you guys to shoot for. So to get that 55% effective field goal percentage, you have to be able to do one of 2 things. You have to be able to either shoot 38% from 3, right? Because if you multiply 38 by 1.5 to get to the 3 points instead of 2, that would be like 55%. So that's how you get that effective field goal percentage. So 38% from 3, or quite simply shoot 55% from 2. So if you could do at least one of those things and focus on doing those things, then you're fine. Now, if you can do both of those things, I mean, there's usually one or two kids that are kind of that can do that each year, and that's kind of elite. All right, that's what you're really looking for, but at least one of them. So, like for example, we look at twos for the season. Only one of you is even over 55, and that would be Jordan. A couple of you at 50, so we can get that up there. And as far as threes, I mean, the only guy that's even remotely in the ball game is Sean at 36, and his sample size isn't that great. I still think that that Justin over the course of the season is going to get up there, and he has to. You have to. Uh, Spins, I don't expect you to be taking that many, so it's not as important for you to be, whatever. But yeah, you should be only taking them. My opinion is when you're wide open. Ryan, uh, Nolan, Brandon, you guys shoot them a lot. So if you're going to shoot them a lot, this is going to have to improve. But this is gonna take care of itself, because if this doesn't improve, coach is just not going to let you take it. That's the way it is. So these things kind of like work kind of in tandem. Now, by the way, I've seen Ryan shoot over the course of a season. I've seen Brandon shoot over the course of what now, 2 full seasons, and Nolan, I guess 2 seasons before. And I think you guys are all sort of like kind of on the border, right? Ryan, you had a very nice season last year. I think thought you were close to 40%. So I'm gonna presume that you can shoot it, but maybe you're shooting it from too deep. Maybe you're shooting it too contested. Maybe not in rhythm. I don't know. That's a coach's thing. As I saw, he did Chris did or Chris, you did a clip of like all the threes, so you can see what types of threes you're taking. Where I can't. I mean, I could, but I just can't. Um, so that's pretty much all I have. In Jordan, again, I don't know. You, you tell me, coaches. You tell me whether you want him taking these. I don't know the answer. But you guys do. But that's pretty much all I have. I don't know whether I misjudged your ability when I said that the only teams that are going to be beating you guys are sneaker teams last week. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But I will say this, that you gotta get everything going a little bit better. It'll to at least be competitive in those games. I mean, and those last 2 games, I think you guys can win. Seth being back is going to help with the rebounds and other things, but you got to get your offense flowing a little bit better, and that will lead to better shots, and that will lead to more made shots, which will lead to better effective field goal percentage, which will lead to more wins. Anyway, that will do it. I will actually see you guys in Pittsburgh this weekend.